Hello, hello, hello. I know I've got some competition today. And I've got funky lighting today, but hopefully it doesn't look too bad for you guys. So welcome to week 29. Apologize again for skipping yesterday, but hopefully you all had a chance to enjoy your Sunday and maybe catch some of the Great Bead Extravaganza presentations. I had a fun weekend watching all the presentations. I love being able to have all those sort of free tips and techniques that, you know, I always learn something. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Paula Montgomery from Desert Cat Creations, and we're here to do our week 29 drawing. So every week we draw cards from our Bead Stash challenge decks, and we make a project later in the week after we've had a chance to look through our stash and find the pieces that go into our project. So today we're going to draw, and then we do have a second schedule change this week. We will be doing our live project on Wednesday at noon again. And I realize I'm competing with all the people that are normally on Mondays and Wednesdays, but you know, it's just how the schedule works. So hopefully you'll catch the replay. If you are catching the replay, let me know you're out there. Let me know who's watching, because I love to know who's watching. And if you can drop a comment or hit the like sign, all those things help me get some visibility with others, so there's more of us on here watching it. Let's see, what else do we have going on this week? Well, it's the middle of the month, so you still have time to post any projects in our Bead Stash Challengers group. If you can't find that, there should be a link off of the page, the Desert Cat Creations page, but if you search for Bead Stash Challengers group, you can fill out the three questions and ask to join the group. We'd love to have you. It's a great place to just ask questions. You get a heads up on all our new products. If you post, you also get into our monthly drawing. And, you know, sometimes I give away something I've made during the month. Other times I might give away a gift certificate, various, you know, it just varies depending on what I feel like doing. So, but I always give away something. Okay. So we'd love to have you there. Let's see, on other news, I will have new kits coming out soon. I've been showing you the last couple times a heads up on my cactus garden kit. So what these are is it's premium crystals, and I'm going to show you how to make some different kinds of cactus. And currently I have 3 different kinds of cactus in my kit, which means I have to write 3 different kinds of directions. And we're going to do probably 3 separate videos. We'll see. We might be able to double up 2 of them, but it might still be nice to have them separate. We'll see. I'm probably going to sell all of them as separate kits, but I will offer a bundle price if you want to buy all 3 of them. So typically when I offer bundles, it's like $5 off. The crystals, again, I'm using premium crystals. Crystals have gone up, and these are large crystals. I had to specially order some of them. So a couple of the kits are going to run probably like 12 to maybe 10 might be the cheapest one. The others will be around $15, $16 a piece. But what that includes is all the crystals for the project. I usually throw in a few extras in case you're like me and throw things all over and can't find them. And then you get written instructions. You do have to supply your own wire. Okay. But those will be available hopefully early August. The crystals are winding their way to me right now. So those will be available when I get back. So I am going to be away for a couple days, so if you make any orders, they will not get mailed until after the 28th, okay? So, just so you know, that's where things are going to be. But like I said, we'll be hopefully making those kits available. So anyway, so back to TGB. I hope you guys had a great time watching that. I actually watched part of every presentation, which I don't think I've done that since the first couple. So, and there were more presenters back then. So anyways, but I will say, you know, some of my big takeaways that I may play around with. One was Kate Richburg had a necklace, and a section of it, which she also said you could use as a bracelet, had a bunch of clasps hooked together. They were the carabiner clasp, but it was just kind of a fun thing. Silver Silk had a really cool knot connector, and I'm gonna have to play with that because I don't understand how it doesn't pull apart, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch that part of the video again where he showed how to do that knot, because it was really cool. I think it would be a fun thing to do, but like I said, I'm struggling a little bit to understand how it doesn't come apart. Then there were several presentations that showed a lot of mixed techniques. You know, Abby over at the Bead Place always shows some new seed bead stitches that, since I'm not really a seed beader by, you know, as usual, my usual thing, I don't know a lot of stitches, so I'm always curious to watch her as she shows new stitches. Heather over at Humble Beads showed a bit on how to age your leather a little bit so it looks, doesn't look brand new, it kind of looks aged. I thought that was interesting. She used wax. Yeah, I can't think of the name of that wax. It's a preservative wax to age her leather. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that again. And then, like, Kay was showing different kinds of sun catchers. And one of the things that I want to say is on our cactus kit, one of them, you could, maybe two of them, you could turn it into a sun catcher if you wanted to. My main design is going to show you how to make them stand alone so they can stand next to your rabbits and your turkeys and all those good things, but you could make a sun catcher. But anyways, lots and lots of ideas and techniques, and it was all free. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started on drawing our cards. Let's see what we're going to make this week. And let's see if I can zoom. We'll get our zooming in. I think I got my camera a little more straightened out. My stand is getting a little weak. I'm having to put some stabilizers in it. Anyways, all right, so it's week 29, so we're going to draw for our cards. So the Bead Stash Challenge decks are, for those of you that are new, it's basically if you're stuck, you don't want to know what you want to make, you have a pile of beads in front of you, or you have a whole collection in front of you, it can help you figure out a project and get started, you know. And it's also great if you're somebody who makes the same thing all the time over and over, but maybe in different colors, which I used to be that person. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about there. But maybe you need to be knocked out of your comfort zone a little bit so that you can try something a little different. So anyways, we currently have 5 decks. Yeah, 5 decks. And I have them all shuffled in here together. So our make cards are going to tell us what to make, and these are from our base deck, which is deck 1, which I recommend if you're just starting out, you need to get that. Then we have our color deck, which actually doesn't have any make cards, but all things color. We have our non-jewelry and findings deck, which is a bunch of things you can make that aren't jewelry or are findings. Those kind of things you can make as well as use in your projects. And then we have the Sun and Sea deck, which is all things summery and beachy. It's a great deck for this time of year. And then our latest deck is our Desert Southwest deck, and it's kind of all things sort of Arizona, New Mexico, a little bit of Texas, a little bit of California, whatever. Things that, you know, when you think about this part of the region, the cultures, the different kind of crafts and things you would think of. So anyways, all right, let's see what we're going to make. We are going to make hoop earrings. All right. So the next kind of cards we have are used cards, and these tell me what to pull out of my stash for my project. Okay. Now, I only have 6 of them, and that's because I normally draw 3, okay, for each project. And as I draw them, I take them out and set them aside, but it's almost time to reshuffle, okay? So we'll be very limited on what it tells us to use, but the good thing about this is it gets you using different things out of your stash as opposed to just making stuff with the newest thing you bought or your favorite color or whatever. So anyways, I guess next week I don't even have to shuffle these because it'll just be all 3 cards. Now, if you're starting out, you can draw just 1 card. You can draw 5 cards if you want. I just happen to like 3. All right, we're going to use feathers in our design. We're going to use green in our design. All right, the hoop earrings and the feathers are from our newest Desert Southwest kit, and the green from our color thing. And we are going to use a challenge bead in our design. Okay. So challenge beads are something I do sell. So I have a little bag of assorted beads, and the reason these are challenge, it may be the size, it may be the shape, it may be it has a really large hole, it may be it's top drilled. Anyways, there's all sorts of things that make it a challenge, and that just means you have to take some things into consideration when you're using them in your project. So we'll be pulling something out of there to use in our hoop earrings, okay? And our last cards are challenge cards. So this is what puts the challenge in Bead Stash challenge. Although, you know, depending on the combination of items that you draw in the used cards can actually make your project challenging. But let's see what we're going to do. So challenge cards may be something like a design aspect. It may be a theme that you have to follow or take into consideration. It could be things like using a number of beads or findings or whatever. So let's see. Or design something for a man. Okay. Not that men can't wear hoop earrings, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to stick that card back in there. And instead, we're going to design something inspired by a Roadrunner. All right. All right. I mean, I think about that a little bit, but that will be fun. So this week And by the way, you can draw more than one challenge card if you really want to push yourself. I've done it a couple times, you know, like last week, I think even, I did it because, you know, like one of the challenge was to design or to make something using my favorite color, which wasn't really much of a challenge since I drew a color card that was my favorite color. So I drew a second challenge card. And I will say, if you're new to using the cards, you know, some people can feel like they're being told what to do. Other times, you know, you're having to think about putting different things together. It can also be, you know, sort of helpful in that it is kind of suggesting, it's narrowing down your, you know, your pool of designs so that you can be creative, but you can be just creative in a certain direction, right? So it's hard to describe, but you know, I realize different personalities will react differently to the cards. But like I said, feel free to, you know, kind of use or however many cards, or you know, have few cards. You know, like if you already know you want to make some earrings but you don't want to use, just draw some used cards or the challenge card. If you're using a monthly bead kit, I'm going to show you how to do that, because you know what? That's what we're going to make today. We're going to use our bead kit. So I'm just going to use the base deck 1 for working with a bead mix. And the reason I do that is because you know, you never know what's in your bead mix, right? So you don't necessarily want to pull out the Sun and Sea deck if your you know, maybe your bead mixes fall or something, you know, because bead mixes, a lot of those subscription things tend to come with the theme. So anyways, we're going to use the I think this month's Bargain Bead Box. If you're not familiar with that, Bargain Bead Box puts out a monthly subscription you can join along with. It's only like $23 or something, which includes shipping, and it's a bunch of findings and a bunch of beads and crystals, and then the themes change month to month. So let's see what we're gonna make. We need to make a matched set. Okay, so a matched set can be any combination of two jewelry things, okay? I know I said any combination of earrings, bracelet, or necklace. But if you want to make an anklet, or if you want to make 2 bracelets, you can do that, okay? And let's see what we're going to use out of our kit. And in this case, we may have to put things back if we don't have them. So we're going to use metal beads. We do have metal beads in the kit, we'll say. Use chain. They do come with chain, so that's not a problem. And let's see, use a focal bead in my design. I don't think, oops. Not sure this month's really has, I mean, they always have a pendant. I don't think it really has anything I would call a focal bead, so I'm gonna put that back. And use wire wrapping. I guess we can do that. Okay. And then let's see about using a challenge card. Okay. If you're interested in seeing how I've used these with bead kits before, I have several videos out on the Desert Cat Creations YouTube channel that have used, I've used the cards with both the Bargain Bead Box and the and Soft Flexes kits. So there's several out there. Design something with an animal thing. You know, I'm going to put that one back because I think we drew that one last time. Big design with at least 5 different components. Okay, well, we can do that. All right. So, I mean, with this case, there's a little bit of drawing and putting things back in case I don't want to deal with them, but or in this case, they don't have stuff that's in here. So, all right, so we've got a couple things to choose from. We've got some crackle glass. We've got some Peace Jade. We've got some Kiwi Jasper. The theme of this kit is ice cream. So I think the red beads were supposed to be cherries. We've also got some crackle agate, fire agate. All right, we've got bead caps. I am just gonna set those off to the side for the moment. There's lots of bead caps in this one because, you know, they were using them as ice cream cones. Which, there's been some cute designs that everybody's been using. So, what do I need? There's some toggle clasps. Might need those. Need them. And there's a couple of different pink quartz. There we go. All right, there is chain. So this month happens to be silver. Oh, and I need the metal beads too, so I'll pull those out. All right, for the moment, I'm not making ice cream cones. Sorry. I don't think I'm going to use the red. I actually think the red is a little jarring here. Maybe. So maybe we'll make a quick neck or bracelet and some earrings. All right, I think we are going to use, I'm going to save those for later. I wanted to kind of make a bracelet out of this the crackle stuff and Peace Jade, maybe the Jasper. Let's see, and then I think I'm going to make some earrings, and I happen to, which I also bought from Bargain Bead Box, have these bear bears, and so I think we'll make some earrings with the bear, and then we'll make a matching bracelet. How's that? And so we have to use at least 5 different components, and we have to use these 3 things, but they don't have to all, since we're making a match set, I just have to use those across the set, okay? So I do have some silver wire here, as well as some beading wire and some crimp beads. So let's since these are piece jade, I want to use some of these piece jade. Since I haven't opened this, that must have just been open. That's okay. Looks like I got some people on here. Thanks for joining me. Dropping beads as usual. You guys are used to that, right? So maybe, I think just to make this so to use chain, but I don't really want to use chain on my bracelet. On my bracelet, I think I'm just going to use those 2 and maybe some of these metal beads for spacers. But I was thinking on the earrings, maybe we'll make them and do a little dangle down with oh, lucky you, Janelda. I had plenty of that myself. Oh, an extender. Yeah, I could put an extender chain on my hey Betty, nice to see you. So I'm thinking to do a little sort of a little chain tassel hanging down from my bear. Sure you guys were over watching Kay. She came on early today. She kind of messed me up because well, I wasn't ready to go, but I didn't get to watch her because I was not expecting her to be on early, so I was doing other things. All right, I'm going to just cut a couple little pieces of chain here. Everybody's getting crowns. Yeah, I spent my time at the dentist last year getting a crown. It's no fun, but it's much better after everything's done, isn't it? I am just cutting like 3 little pieces of chain here. I could make them different sizes, but I think I'm going to make them all the same size. Or close. If they're a little off, that's okay, because it just adds to our design, I think. Now where did I cut that guy? Oh, there it is. I'm assuming this chain is closed chain. I guess I didn't look that closely at it. All right, there look at that real quick, because if it's not closed chain, then oh, it looks like it is. All right, I'm just going to make one earring and the necklace is probably, or the bracelet today. Oh. Yeah, it's fun. It is no fun spending money or time at the dentist, is it? So, all right. So, what I'm going to do is I am making. Actually, I am going to use some head pins. See, when I don't plan out my project and I'm just doing it as I go along, I'm a little more scatterbrained here today, aren't I? So, all right, we're going to just take these head pins, and these are long head pins. I'm going to wire wrap them to the bottom of one end of the chain. Goodness sakes. I'm not moving fast today, am I? So that's all right. Well, and I picked a project where I have to make more than one thing too. So. That money could have gone to beads. Yeah. But your dentist needs a vacation, right? I am not. I apparently am not doing a very good job of this today. So Betty, how's your hand, your wrist feeling? All right, I'm doing a little bit of wire wrap on this bead. Vacations and Teslas. Yeah, well, my dentist is very young. Like, he's got 2 new babies, so I suspect his money's going to the babies, but and his college bills. So, although his wife's a doctor too, but that just might mean they have more bills. I don't know. So. All right, I did a really sloppy wrap, but that's okay. It's nobody's really gonna see it. All right, and I'm gonna do this 3 times, and then we'll and it should get faster now. So if you guys watched the Great Bead Extravaganza this weekend, what was your favorite presentation? Or project, at least. So head pins are a little slippery here. Yeah. Isn't that how it works, though? I know my sister had that surgery and she had to get them both done eventually. So. Fortunately, it sounds like it's usually a fairly quick recovery, right? Kay's first and Abby's second. Like I was mentioning earlier, I actually watched you with the grandkid. Yeah, I actually watched part of everybody's. I did not watch all of everybody's. You know, I always enjoy Kay. I didn't buy any of the kits, so you know, some of them that were just demonstrating a kit, you know, I watched a little of. I just didn't watch the whole thing since. But I think really only I want to say that, you know, I think Jill's was the only one that, you know, if you didn't buy the kit, you can't make the project, whereas, you know, you might be able to come up with the components for, or at least similar components for most of the other presenters. But yeah, I was saying how Abby's always very good at teaching me new seed beading stitches, which since I've not been a seed beater, it doesn't take much to teach me something new, right? Your surgery was back in, oh, well, yeah. Alright, I'm just going to put a little spacer bead. We'll see how this looks on top. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop below my bear, which I'm going to put these chains into. The question is, oh, I can pull it up. Never mind. So you do have to be careful that your loop will fit in there or whatever. And when you're working with something like this shape, it's best to do this end that has to be pulled into there first, because otherwise you can't wrap it. So I just need to make sure I make a big enough loop that I can hook those 3 pieces of chain on there. And so I'm just taking the end of the chain. We're making a little dangle. See how that is, and then let's close this up. I'm using a 20 gauge because that's what I had out, but I will say that for this particular part of the project, I think 22 might have been a better a little better, but that's fine. And then I can just pull that right up there. All right. Now the question is, I had put a bead on here, which apparently has crawled up my spool here. I think that's, I was trying to decide if I wanted to put like one of these beads on top of my bear. What do you think? Should I put another bead on top of the bear, or do you think just the small metal bead? Maybe I'll cut this and we'll see if... All right, so I need enough for my wrapped loop. So, let's see. What do you think? The bead on top or no bead on top? Add the bead. Okay. Yeah, it kind of adds a little more to it. I probably don't need the spacer, but I'll go ahead and use it since I'm supposed to use a metal bead, right? All right, now I'm just going to make the loop that my ear wires will be connected to. And say, pulled too much wire, but that's okay. Maybe we'll trim that. And tuck that in. All right, so to connect this to an ear wire, I do need, you know, the top going the one direction. Oh, you were trying to... Yeah, it may not let you, yeah. All right, so we've got that there, and then I'll have to find some ear wires, or make some ear wires. I was gonna make one real quick. I can just make a plain ear wire. So we're going to cut about 1 3/4 is a good length for an ear wire. And I'm going to use my 6 looper. So on one side, we are just going to do the small loop. This is what the earring is going to attach to. I like to kind of pull it straight up, so I have a head or a eye pin, and then I like to have a big loop, so I am going to stick it between the 2 large ones, and I push the loop all the way up next to there, and then I just pull it over the one that I want to use, which happened to be the large one. And all right, I didn't need to, you meant to shape it a little to where you want it, but that'll work. I'm gonna have to hammer it later. I also like to put a little bend in the back. I think it makes it easier to get it in your ear. And then we'll put it on there. So, and I also need to file down my ends, but there's one earring, and I will make the other one later, but let's go ahead and make our bracelet real quick. I know I'm running behind today because I started late though, but then I was talking. So, all right, I'm gonna pull this out, and then I think I am just going to use, where did my, there. So these metal spacers, and thinking I will just kind of alternate I don't know. Can't decide if I want to group these between metal beads or do every other one. Anybody have an opinion? Here, I'll if I group them, I'd probably do groups of 3, which could either be the crackles or the or I can switch off, right? What do you think? Should I do every other one with the spacer bead, or should I do little groups of 3 beads? Can you even tell? Yeah, that's better. Anybody have an opinion? I actually like the grouped beads, but so maybe. But I think maybe I will alternate. And find the holes in the beads today. Apparently I needed more coffee. It's actually raining, cloudy, and it was raining earlier. I don't know if it's still. You want one between, you think? I'll show you what I'm thinking. I don't know if I have enough spacer beads. I think I do, but so there's the grouping with switching off. I know I'm a little slow. So more stone than metal this way, whereas it's even stone and metal the other way. I really like that minty look of that crackle bead. It's fun. Like that? Okay. I will just keep stringing and get this done, because, like I said, I'm behind today, but it's all good, right? So I don't know if you saw my drawing, Janelle, I have to make hoop earrings this week, so I may push the definition of what a hoop earring is. I see you just sent something, Betty. I'll have to look at that. beads off here. Hope you all are getting some relief from the weather where you are. Our relief is coming in, like I said, a monsoon storm today. And I'm very excited. I went out for a walk this morning, and there's a small cactus that's called a thumb cushion, I think. And they have these pretty pink flowers, and they're starting to bloom. I saw some buds on some when I was out walking today, so very excited. Oh, okay. I'll check that when I'm off. So, all right, that doesn't look like. Actually, I think that's a little short, but yep. The question is, when I add my clasp, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the clasp on the one side, and I'll add beads to the other side if I have to. Yeah, the ones I'm talking about they're little pink buds, and they're really pretty. Unfortunately, it's not a night bloomer. Also, my cactus in my front yard, I have one in a pot that I just bought this year, so I didn't really know when it bloomed or what color or anything, and it bloomed once already, and I think I missed one yesterday. All right, we're doing the magic crimper, ravioli, sideways, and then we're doing that, and let's see, okay, those fit just fine over my two things. Let's see. I'm going to give myself a little bit extra just in case. And all right, and let's stick that through there. Oop. And then we'll try it on and make sure it's long enough. Just looping back through my crimp. Come on. All right, let's see if that is long enough or if I need to add more. I think it's, yep. I think it's good. All right, let's stick our tail back through some beads. So again, I'm letting gravity go down a little, make sure it's not too tight, that it can move around a little. Then I'm going to tighten that up. Make sure I don't have a lot of stuff showing. And where did I? Okay. Oh, there. Got my magic crimper. Again, center it and squeeze. Ravioli time again. And then squish 90 degrees. All right, there we go. Let me trim this off. I think that's long enough for me to keep. All right, let's make sure our, you love the magic. You know, I didn't, for the longest time, I refused to use the magic crimper. I did not trust that I could do it right, but I have managed to successfully use it now. All right, so we have a mess here as usual, but made a matched set. I'll make the second earring off screen. Okay, so I made earrings and a bracelet. We had to use metal beads, so I did use the metal beads in both. We had to use chain in our design. I only used the chain in the earrings, but that's okay. Just somewhere, right? And then we had to use wire wrapping, which we did also in the earrings. I think actually the earrings meet all the criteria except for them being a matched set, although they will be matched set, right? Set of earrings. So, all right, I will finish the other earring before I take a picture. And there's our bracelet. Yeah, I do believe that, although, like I said, still sometimes I feel like I miss and my crimps are not pretty, but all right, so there's our matched set. We have our piece jade and crackle quartz, crackle glass bracelet and earring, and like I said, I will make the second earring because gotta have a pair, right? So that was fun, and I made something out of my kit. I think I'm gonna make something out of these, all this pink quartz and the metal rhinestone spacers. I think that would make a really lovely bracelet, so probably gonna do that at some point too. All right, let me flip the camera. Alrighty, thanks again for joining me. That was just a little reminder of how you can use the base deck with a monthly bead subscription. And you can make something that's a lot of fun and different. And you know, it shakes it up a little, right? So I may not have come up with the idea for the dangles on my bears if it hadn't told me to use chain, because then it put that idea in my head. So that's why the cards are useful. So we'll be back on, remember, Wednesday at noon, because Thursday at noon I'm going to be somewhere on the Arizona-California border. Hopefully. Maybe even in California. I don't know. But Wednesday at noon, we are going to make hoop earrings. They're going to have feathers and challenge bead and green. They're going to be green, apparently. And they're going to be inspired by a Roadrunner, so we'll see how that goes. I have a day to think about that and pull my stuff together. So, all right. As always, if you haven't already, please like and follow us. If you could like this post, that'd be great. Like and follow us on Desert Cat Creations on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. All the videos that are more than 30 days old are on YouTube. I don't have all of last year's, but I have some of the unique things, as well as most of this year, other than the month of March, are over on YouTube now. So, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to us. I'm trying to get past 50 subscribers so I can start doing lives over there and hopefully expand my audience to the people that aren't just the ones on Facebook. Although, you know, there are some advantages to the interactions on Facebook, but YouTube keeps your videos, so it's all good. And just a reminder, next Sunday, I will not be doing a live drawing. I will post my cards, since I'm going to be out of town. And then if anybody orders anything, it won't ship until after the 28th. And hopefully, at first week of August, I'll be ready to start shipping the, Desert Garden kits. So I mentioned earlier, the crystals that go into these kits are not cheap. So I think I am going to put it out as 3 different kits, but I will offer a bundle for them. And because if I tried to do them all in one kit, it was going to be pricey. So I want to make it more reasonable. And if people then want, you know, say you want 2 saguaros or, you know, multiple prickly pears, you don't have to order the whole kit twice. You can order just the individuals. So anyways, hopefully those will be available to start shipping in early August. I'm hoping the box with all those shiny crystals is going to be waiting for me when I get home from my short little trip here. So, all right, so I'll see you Wednesday to make some hoop earrings. Have a great couple of days. I will see you then. Bye.